Hello there. In this lesson we're going to be learning two new chords, the G chord and the C chord. Many people find these two chords a bit trickier to play than the others we've looked at, but if you come with me this far in the course then I'm sure it's going to be nothing you can't handle with a bit of practice. And before you know it, both of these chords are going to be very good friends and you're going to be using them to play many great songs. So let's get started by looking at the G chord. We're going to put our second finger at the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Our first finger is going to go at the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and our third finger is going to go at the 3rd fret on the 1st string. You can see there's a bit of a stretch there between our 2nd and 3rd fingers, which might take a bit of getting used to. As usual, we're going to check each string separately and make sure each note is ringing clearly. Then we can strum the chord. If it's not ringing clearly, then you're going to need to just make some adjustments with your left hand until it's all sounding as it should do. There are a few problems people have with this chord. It's mainly due to fingers blocking or muting strings that are supposed to be ringing. So you need to make sure you're up on the tips of all of your fingers, particularly the 2nd finger here, because that has a tendency just to lean into and to block the 5th string there. So make sure you're up on the tip of your 2nd finger. Make sure your 1st finger isn't blocking the string underneath it. Again, just up onto the tip of that finger, and make sure there's some space here underneath the fingers for the 3 open strings to ring clearly. This is what the C chord looks like. I've got my 1st finger playing the 1st fret on the 2nd string. My 2nd finger is going to play the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and my 3rd finger is playing the 3rd fret on the 5th string. You'll be able to feel it's quite a stretch to play this chord as well, which might take some practice to get used to. We're going to play each string separately again, just listening out for any buzzes and any muffled notes, making sure everything is really clear. Notice on this chord we're not playing the low E string at all. There's a cross against that string in the chord diagram, which means we don't play that string. With any luck it should be sounding like that. If it's not, you just need to make some adjustments with your left hand to make sure every note is ringing clearly. Make sure you're up on the tips of your fingers, make sure your fingers aren't bumping into and muting the string directly underneath where you're fretting the note. Also notice the angle of my fingers. They're at a slight diagonal to the frets of the guitar, pointing over towards the head of the guitar slightly, which is the best position for them to be in. You want to avoid your fingers being too straight downwards like that, which makes the chord very awkward. So it should be looking something like that. I think most people's hands fall into that position fairly naturally anyway, but that's just something to be aware of. Once you've got these two new chords under your fingers, you can begin to work them into your playing by practicing some more chord changing. And the process is going to be the same as I've shown you before, but this time we're going to be moving between G and C as smoothly and as quickly as you can. Once you're able to do that, you can always try going between G or C and any of the other chords we've learned, so the E chord, the A chord and the D chord. You should be able to come up with quite a few combinations of different pairs of chords now, all of which will be really worth practicing at this stage. So have some fun learning the G and the C chords. They're both super important chords. Stick with it. I've never yet come across anybody who's not been able to master these two chords with a bit of practice. And I'll see you for another lesson really soon.